Okay, you're welcome. From that Nigerian Speak, you can see what people are going through. Well, it is well with this country. Now we'll move on to another interview segment this morning. Our place is just a light interview. And what are we talking about? We're talking about dynamism in content creation. And our guest is already here. Good morning.
All right,
Mr. K.
Good morning. Good morning. We have Kay Olakule with us
Yes.
In the studio, and we are going to be talking about what Doyin mentioned, dynamism in content creation. Before we get to the dynamism of, okay, maybe it can still go together because in the process of being dynamic, we see a lot of content that people will look at that all in the name of content. Why must you do this? There are some content that you ask yourself, what value is this particular content adding? So as a content creator, and trying to be dynamic, how do you balance it between having a meaningful content and just for the engagement and for the money?
Usually, there's supposed to be a balance between what value am I trying to put out and what value do I think the audience want to hear about. So in the process of them finding their niche, because like I said, meaning is in man, right? Not in words. So most times people try to they walk away a little bit from the actual message they're trying to give, and because they want to stand out in the crowd. Of course, you want your content to stand out because there's millions of content every day. You want your content to stand out, but some people get lost in that, in focusing too much on dynamism, that they forget to put value in it. So that is where we have a conflict of interest.
Okay, let me also ask this because I know she's also loaded with quite a number of questions. In terms of content creation, for you as a person, why content creation? What led you into it? Is it that is your passion, you just like it? Or is it the economic drive that actually led you into it?
Okay, so I was posted to a church in NYC. That's Glorious Liberty Church in Abeokuta here. And that was where I learned about mobile videography / content creation. Because first you need to know how to shoot. Before then you need to create content from what you're shooting. So I saw a gimbal at first. It's a 3-axis gimbal, and I was like, what is this? I was piqued. My interest was really piqued. I wanted to understand how this works, and before you know it, I started learning a little bit of videos. Before you know it, I started trying to understand more, going to YouTube, trying to learn more. And because of the fact that when I started, content was not as, mobile videography and content creation was not a lot, especially in Abeokuta, there was not a lot. I think it was me and Amtin that really started it here in Abeokuta. So I liked it. I liked the fact that it was dynamic. And then when I saw that people were actually paying for it, I had to double down and actually make a living out of it. So that is where I found content creation during NYC.
Okay, just by accident, sort of.
By accident.
Okay, Mr. Akaye. See, my question will start this way. Okay, when we talk about dynamism, to you, what does dynamism in content creation really means?
Okay, it is that source that makes you different from every other person in the content space. No matter if we all do content, we can't do the same content because our thought process is different, our experiences are different, the way our upbringing is different, and all of these things contribute to the way that we perceive life. And the way that you create content is basically your own interpretation of life, your own interpretation of what values should look like to you, what you giving back should look like, what you trying to tell somebody to do should look like. Some people are giving pieces of advice, some people are giving relationship advice, some people are doing love, some people are being authorities in their field, trying to teach people, okay, I've done this, it worked for me, you can also do this, it can work for you. Some people are just trying to basically just go with the internet flow. Some people are trying to flow with the head. That's why we got the whole Olodo mentality where, you know, people are trying to do what people respond to. So the essence of that value is being eroded a little bit. So for me, dynamism, right? If I am going to create content, I'm basically going to think about what do I want people to respond to? What am I trying to teach? So
how do you know what people will respond to?
Most times, if we look at the demographic, if we take, for instance, now, before I create content for Abeokuta people, I first need to understand what the Abeokuta people would like, you understand? So, and which will take me into basically connecting with the culture here in Abeokuta. That's what I feel like people will connect to. But then there's also the other side where there's a lot of students here in Abeokuta that I also need to connect to. So I also have to look at what the age group is responding to and then do the same thing. But the dynamism now is I'm not just going to create for the people. I'm also going to create where I want my voice to be. Because it is that there's a knowledge gap of me. Because of the fact that some people might be saying the same thing that I want to say, but they're not saying it in the same way, they're not phrasing it in the same way. So that is my own source because I am saying it the way I want to say it, and yet I still want the audience to react to it.
Okay, now, you know, creating content could be simple and at the same time difficult. So now, when you create content, maybe you created one and you say that people do not respond the way you feel they should respond. So how often should a creator, how often should a creator switch content formats like maybe videos, audios, and the rest? How often? Or should you just pick one and stick to it?
Most times, I would advise you just stick to mostly videos. You can branch out and do a little bit of pictures sometimes, but I'll say videos. Now, we are in the digital space, which means that your digital platform is more or less your shop. So you will not decide that, oh, today I want to sell cornflakes, next tomorrow let me sell sugar. You have to have something people know you for, and then you need to consistently show up. So we do content as a service, which means that brides that want to create content creators that want to shoot content, students that want to learn how to do content creation, talking heads, interviews, podcasts, all of those things, that's where we come in. Now, because we do a lot of content, we have a perceived knowledge of how this content should look like. Take, for instance, now, if I am shooting somebody and then they are saying it in a certain way, I know that this content you're trying to pass out should have a more higher energy. So I'll be like, no, let's do that again. So because there's a lot of effort that needs to go into video, some people do not like the cameras, some people don't want to talk to cameras, but yet they need to have a social presence. So that is where we now have to find a middle ground, a common ground. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Okay. Sorry, maybe after this question. You know, when you pick your phone, you saw through the social media, you see a lot, and you wonder how people come up with different kind of stories, contents, and the rest now. And you see something like short form videos, reels, and the rest, and that's keep one busy. So now, what role does short forms, videos, the reels, and the rest? What role do they play in keeping a content creator dynamic?
Basically, the content itself is, you can either choose to do an informative content where I just talk to the people, or I want to pass that information in a story, which is where you do a short form reel on all that. Now, where the dynamism comes from is the inception of the idea. If you think about the idea, what way do you think if you pass it, people will get the same message? Because like I said, most times meaning is in man. I can say something and then you are hearing a different thing. Because maybe say, perhaps your experiences between people saying something like that, or maybe say you are not used to hearing some certain things. You understand what I'm saying? So the way that, the reason why people now use videos is because there is little chances for you to misinterpret. When you're watching, you can hear them say it, you can see the gesticulation, you can more or less guess whether, I think I'm taking the wrong meaning out of this.
But so, they still misinterpret some videos, and that's why people have different comments.
Exactly. Because people still, regardless of you still saying it in a way that you feel people should also understand it, people still have different experiences. They will still hear it differently.
Okay. The question I want to ask is that the other time when you were talking about putting the energy into it to actually get that result. And I look at someone also trying to create content, and there is this talk in some quarters that people don't really consume that with experience that I'm trying to be careful with my words, that Nigerians doesn't really consume things that are
serious.
You know, you can be talking about values and all that, and it's not moving, and nobody listens. That is why you have a lot of these hollow uprising conversations that we have, that we just want to consume any nonsense. Let me put it that way. But speaking to somebody that is trying to find his feet, trying to be dynamic, trying to be different, trying to put content with values, what advice will you advise such a person? And the person is putting the energy, and it's like this thing is not moving. So first, which are the places that you can push out your content that will move and you get what you're actually looking for? I want you to talk about some of those platforms without advertising for any brand. You know, the spaces, let me just say the spaces where you can put your content and it can easily move once you have that value, whatever you are trying to create. Then another thing I want you to talk about is the consistency. Some people tell you that you just have to keep putting up the content, maybe like 8 videos in a day, 10 videos in a day. So the consistency, the spaces, and finally, the question I want to ask is that at what point, from your own experience, did you get noticed by brands? So for somebody, at what point can that break come for you? Like 3 questions in one.
Okay, so I'll start with the first one. Firstly, if you're creating content of value, you need to understand that not everybody is your audience, right? People that are in your, if we have 100%, people that are your audience are maybe just 10%, 20%. And the people that are your audience will not spend their time commenting. They will just watch, see good value, like, and go. They are not keypad warriors. Now, that is where your consistency has to come in, because you can do it for 5 years, and you now start getting noticed in the 5th year. Because, like I said, the people that your community is slowly building up, but you cannot see it because the people that you want to comment are not the ones that are commenting.
So in the local language, is it that for me to blow, I have to do content for keypad warriors?
No, not really. Not really. Now, if you want to blow fast, then you can do for keypad warriors. Yeah. But if you want to take the high road and you want to do for your own people, then it has to take time. It has to take time. Anything, whatever that is good, will take time. So TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of these platforms, they appeal to different audiences, but the intellectuals are there. They are not just loud. They are not loud. So, and of course, they have no point to prove. They just want to enjoy, they just want to while away time a little bit and get back to work. They are not spending all day online. So, most times you have to continuously and consistently do it. By the time your numbers now rack up, you now say, okay, this is a much more sustainable field. But then, it has to be something you are also genuinely interested in. I am genuinely interested in ensuring people are educated. I am genuinely interested in ensuring people know that this is my truth. So it's not something that you're doing because maybe say, at first you need to take your eyes off of the engagement because it will not come as suddenly. So on TikTok is like the easiest place to blow because anything goes viral. The algorithm can just decide to push your first video, and before you know it, you are seeing 1 million views, and then you can consistently do that same video and it will not move again. So that consistency, and then you will not lose sight of the fact that I am doing this for me first before I am doing for any other person. I am doing it because I genuinely want to make a change, not because I want to see a lot of views. Now, take for instance that I tell people that I create and then I just leave it. I go and continue to create. In my mind, for each video that I create, I want to watch it and be like, what could I have done better? What could I have said better? What sentence could I have shortened that would have given the same meaning rather than saying this whole thing? If I'm continuously looking at my videos and I'm continuously getting better, I am doing this content for myself, one day, some people will just be like, hi, we saw your content on so, and we would love to. That's just how things work.
Okay, at what point did that one day come for you? And at what point did that one day can come for people that are watching and are
Like
trying to make something out of
years?
Okay, so I was creating for, I started shooting in 2021 during service year, and I think I started getting gigs 2022. So
a year is too.
that's a year.
That's close.
But and funny thing is, because that 1 year was my service year, I was basically just using that to absorb and learn as much as I can. And then from feedbacks, I'm having a show, so I'm coming, I'll come and do small content. This video is very nice. Well, do you think you can, next time, do you think you can add this, you can do this, you can do. I also go back home, watch. If I watch my videos from back, I'll be like, did I shoot this? Because of course I have continuously learned, continuously. And then my goal now is to ensure that I have people that I can say I taught, that these are people that I have grown out of what I have done. These are people that I have grown. And for every year of that, from that time, we've always had like a year class that we always do, where I try to teach people
like
a master class, right? That I teach people, we do a little bit of do more with your phone. Okay, this is what we can do. As business owners, your content is different from people that want to be content creators. As content creators, your content is going to be different from somebody that wants to talk about relationships. Everybody has, the sky is wide enough for everybody to fly. It's just that you will not just suddenly take off. It's going to be a very gradual process. But the age that we are in right now, I doubt a lot of people have that patience. Everybody wants to really blow, which is why they go to places where they know that people are going to talk. So once the people start talking, it's already going.
Now talking about the difference in content creation, because you mentioned that creating content is different. Now let's talk about the difference. How you create for TikTok, WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube, Instagram, the rest. What are the differences?
First is their frame ratio. Instagram is more portraits. Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Twitter. Twitter also do landscape, but for long form content like YouTube, landscape. So the frame ratio first, the duration. For short form content, your duration should be nothing more than maybe 1 minute 30 seconds, at least for Instagram if you're going to boost it. But people still do longer form content, long videos like that. But long videos are mostly suitable for YouTube, because that is where people actually want to sit for a long time and watch. But for TikTok, they want to get your message in the fewest times and go. They want to, in less than 5-10 seconds, they want to, in less than 3 seconds, they want to decide, is this worth watching? No. This worth watching? Okay, let me stay. I don't like it. So those type of things, your reaction, what do you want to do with your video? What do you want people to do? How fast do you want them to do it? Because for an audience that doesn't like to stay long, your message cannot be longer than their attention span. Do your message, put your CTA, and go.
Okay, now talking about content creation, you said where you started, we didn't really have much of it in Abeokuta, and now maybe the market is growing. And that's the question I want to ask you, that presently, between 2021 and now that you started, what is the content creation space in Abeokuta like, and Ogun State like?
I would say there's been there's been a lot of improvements where we have been growing in the content space, at least in Abeokuta. We have a community now. We have people doing different type of content. We have people that migrate from different parts of the state and come here and be like, this is where I want to settle down, and this is what I want to do for a living. So it's been growing, and I think it will still continue to grow because of the current age that we are in.
So how much of a living can someone make out of content creation? In trying to be dynamic, you also balance the, not necessarily being academic or, being whatever, being too serious, so that, you balance the Olodo pricing talk and the other side of the divide, and you can still make a living out of it.
You can make a decent living, at least mobile videographers, right? Like I said, there's the mobile videographers that do content as a service. Those guys, they do events, they do, those are the guys that you call whenever you want to create content, right? that field is amazing. It's a field that if you give it your time, it will reward you. But if you now want to create content for
You can
yourself,
make hundreds of millions.
definitely you can.
Billions.
Now that depends on how long and your client base.
Okay. Okay. Now, before I go to the real question I want to ask, this is just a backup one. So, how like all the platforms that you post, where do you make money most?
I think it should be TikTok. I think it should be TikTok and IG. TikTok and
And
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
TikTok and Instagram. I get a lot of I get a lot of DMs. There was even a time I got a DM around to 12 in the night, and the shoot was in the morning. So it got to a point where the person was saying that you are the only person that I responded. I texted a lot of people, and I'm like, I'm always online.
Okay, now let's talk about the best ways you can get your audience to be part of your content creation. You know, without them, you're just creating for yourself.
Yes.
So how do you get your audience to be part of your content creation?
You know, like I said, first things first, you need to first create your why. Why are you doing this? What do you want to gain out of this? Why? Who do you want to try to educate? Once you've answered your why, the main value you're trying to put out. Now, people would resonate with you whether you're making sense or not.
Okay.
Now, you are going to have to continuously do what you're doing to be able to gather enough people. Take for instance now, for the first day that you make sense, one person can be like, I like this guy. For the second day, another two people can be like, I like this guy. If you do it well enough for like about 6 months, you would have gathered at least some hundreds of people that want to hear from you. If you now consistently do it for years, you will have built a massive amount of people.
Okay, but talking about gathering audience, I learned that you can buy audience too. Is that real?
You can, but it's not advisable.
Oh,
because
why?
most times you bought them. They were not part of your journey. They didn't. In short, some of them will not even stay.
But that will boost your followers.
No, you should put your followers as regards numbers, but it will not boost your engagement. And most times people check your followers and then check your engagement. You cannot have 100,000 followers and not be able to boast of a 1,000 engagement. At least maybe 10% of your followers. Because Instagram does something where they do the algorithm only pushes out 10%. They pushes out your content to 10% of your followers. Now, when you now want it to go out, that's when you run your sponsored ad. That's when it shows it to everybody and all that. But it does first 10%. You understand? So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, talking about sponsored ads now, when do you start having adverts on your content? When
you feel like your page is ready. Now, your page has to be ready with enough content. At least, maybe say, there's 3 videos in a grid, right? You should have at least maybe 3, 4, 5. And then your page should tell them, immediately someone comes to your page, you should immediately tell them what you do, so that there's no confusion. They can easily come, decide what they want to do, and go.
Okay, as we begin to wind down, there is this question I also want to ask you. Content creation, times and things will change. Where do you see the future of content creation? Is it sustainable?
I think it is sustainable for a few more years. I think it's still going to be here for a while, especially because of the fact that they keep making more digital phones that can do more of those things, and I feel like they are still going to continue to improve on this technology. So it's going to get to a point where we might see a little bit of phasing out of cameras, a little bit of it, but then the struggle will still continue for a few years. But I still feel like for now, it's still long term.
One more important question for me: what is the difference between a content creator and a social media influencer?
A content creator and a social media influencer. Now, a social media influencer has already gathered followers. They have created enough content to be able to gather an amount of following. People are influenced by the things that they do. They can say, okay, I'm eating at so restaurant today, please check them out. And then people will be like, oh, because this person went there, I want to also go there. But if you are just starting out, there's nobody to influence.
Okay.
Okay, now let's talk about the tools that help creators track with which formats or angle that works. So what tools helps you?
Okay, basically you need your phone. That's the main thing. Your phone, either a tripod stand, depending on what you want to do. If you're going into content creation as a service, right? You need a tripod stand and a gimbal, something that stabilizes your hand. You need a light. You need a mic. Now, every other thing is not really necessary. It's not really necessary, but will be necessary at the point of shoots. Take for instance now, if you're going to get maybe extra more light, you have to have gotten to a certain level of experience before you know, okay, I think I need another extra light. So you don't just need to just buy everything.
Okay, I think I'll do a follow up on that. For someone, because all of these things that you mentioned actually cost money. For someone that maybe can afford starting phone, the phone tripod and the lights, but the person is born with a lot of ideas that he wants to turn into a content, and has one small Android phone. Does such a person stand a chance?
Yes, you do. As long as we can hear what you're saying and then we can see you. You stand a chance.
Let's quickly talk about the mistake a content creator can make that could maybe affect the progress of such content creator.
Okay, so don't deviate from your value. Don't deviate from what you're trying to teach us. Don't say because you're not getting enough engagement, you want to now switch topic. People cannot know you if you keep switching topics, right? That's for a content creator. Now, if you're doing content creation as a service, take for instance a mobile videographer, you need to understand where you are at, what your skill level is at, and the appropriate amount to charge for that skill level. Don't get too greedy because your friend is collecting so amount. You might not be as experienced. And people are paying for the experience, not really the experience and then the skill, because for every time you experience something, your skill gets better. Oh, you know the things to avoid because you have seen them happen. But the other person is basically just doing things based on what they think it should look like. You understand what I'm saying? So if your skill is equivalent to what you're charging for it, I feel like you're good.
Okay, we need to just wrap up this segment, and there is nothing we can say than to appreciate you for coming on this show this morning. But before you go, for young people like you who are creating content but not yet blue, and those that are coming up, what do you have to say? 30 seconds.
Okay, I want to say continue to create, keep creating, create daily. Continue to create. Don't look at the money. This money is going to eventually come, but please continue creating. Watch people. Try to connect with people without necessarily attaching it to money. Try to see what you can learn for people. These things don't just suddenly happen. They take time. So you need to give yourself time to grow.
Yeah, time is not anybody's friend. So we thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
A content creator and a videographer. We wish you the very best of luck as you progress in your journey of content creation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, for you out there, we also thank you for still being part of the program till now. The program is not done yet. We just take a break. When we come back, it's going to be time for trending.